What's up everyone, I'm Matthew Encina. I'm a creative director here at Blind and the Future. Today I'm going to review a poster design, a logo design, and a design style frame. And the reason why I'm covering a breadth of work is just to show you that design principles are the same no matter what you're doing. So things for scale, contrast, legibility, all of these things are important in everything that you do across all design mediums. Just so you guys know, Affinity Designer is sponsoring this episode and we'll be using their app to critique your work. Let's get into it. So the first design we're going to be looking at is submitted by Liam. Liam created this poster for a company who was hosting a FIFA World Cup night. I really like how he used just typography for this. He used the different country codes here, BRA, CRI. I think the hierarchy is pretty nice. So we have this Boulder Game Night right here in the center and then the details to the right. I feel like we could push the hierarchy a little bit better so it's a little bit clear, because for me when I read this and I'm thinking about what the end user needs to read, they need to read this first, this second, and then these elements third. So I think there's a couple of things we could do. I want to highlight this information here in the center a little bit better. You can do some fun stuff like this, where this almost feels like it's a band, right? And we are highlighting that information. So now what happened, we can't see that type up here. I think I just need to introduce a secondary color in here. I think I want to bring back this orange actually. So I'm going to do a bit of a color overlay. So now if we're looking at this thing, the hierarchy seems a bit clearer now, highlighting this information right in the center first and these things second. I do have to make some adjustments though, because you see this very uncomfortable area right here, that's bugging the heck out of me, and I think we just need a little bit more air, a little bit more space in this margin between the type. I'm just gonna make a slight tweak to the scale of this thing. Okay. The hierarchy looks a lot clearer now. We have this nice band that's highlighting the primary and secondary information first. And then we just have the type as more of a textural thing. Initially with this, I think just some minor tweaks in the hierarchy and colors makes a huge impact in the legibility and the information and in how you read it. Now we're going to look at Joel's style frame. He was a student in my style frames course and he did this as part of the assignment for the class. The assignment was to create a zombie apocalypse style frame. I think this is a fantastic style frame. It looks very beautiful. Okay, so what I like is that he has this nice one-point perspective where everything feels like it's going towards our main character right here. So this is super nice because all the lines, the invisible lines that you actually don't see, are leading and pointing us to this character right here. He even did some really neat things with the character on the floor right here, this little zombie that's crawling after him. He has all of these leading lines in the frame that's helping point our eye and direct our eye at the key thing. So the big issue that I have with this frame is it's very dark. And it's hard to see all of these beautiful details that I know he has in here. So there's some easy things that we can do. Let's start by first lifting the blacks a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a color correction here. I'm just gonna add some curves. So curves, if you look at this, this is the graph or the spline for the curves. Down here is the low values and up here is the bright values. So if I'm just adding points to my spline here, what I'm doing is I'm literally taking the low end, also all the dark ranges, and I'm pulling it up. And you can see this is pulling up this area right here, which is not what I want because it's making all of this blown out. So I need to add another point and bring that down. So now you can see with this on and off how much more detail we can see in there. I still don't like how muddy it's getting up here, but you know, we could just paint a mask for this. So the way that this mask is going to work is that I'm just going to paint in some black values, and those black values is where the mask is going to paint out some of the color correction that I added. So as you can see right here, I'm starting to knock this out. All I'm doing is just painting out that color correction layer that I had on this, and that's helping us so that it's it's not so bright. So you can see the difference here now that I'm excluding this part of that color correction. I think we could still punctuate the subject right here. And the way we're gonna do that is we're just gonna add more visual contrast. Now we have the contrast on him. So let's look at that again. So this was before, he's kind of receding back into the fog, which is kind of cool, but at the same time, he's the key subject in here. He's the primary subject. So I just added this a little crudely, but you can see now the difference. If we're looking at everything as a whole, now you can see that all the contrast point is right here. He's very clear, and that's where our eyes are going. So we can continue to finesse this and play with it, but I think overall, Joel already did a great job with composing this frame. I'm just messing around with the little details. I'm sure he's worked on this for many hours, doing the same things, turning things up, turning things down, and sometimes you can get very obsessive with these, but I think we can move on. I think you guys picked up a couple of tricks. All right, so now we are going to look at a logo design. So this was submitted by Ermin, and Ermin created this logo for their design studio. There's a couple of minor things that I think we could do to this logo lockup to make it feel a little bit more strong. So I'm looking at the alignment of where the type is going relative to this illustration of the bear. And so if we're looking at the angles, like this kind of comes out this way, and then this thing, if we follow this line down, kind of goes in a weird area. Like we have all this negative space, and what I'm trying to do is just to lock these up so it feels a little bit more centered to that, and so that this type right here and this part of the typeface of the logo are lining up a little bit better with this. So I'm going to just make some minor adjustments here. So what I'm trying to do is visually balance this space right here and then this space right here, so I can get a little bit more alignment. Let me try and just have this so the left and the right is all aligning in the right places. Yeah, this is starting to feel a little bit better now. It feels a little bit more sturdy because we have this black typeface as the base. And I'm just having this come off just a little bit. So these are minor things that we can do. And again, we can finesse this. I'd probably spend a couple more hours just like maneuvering and moving all the type kerning left and right just to make this feel right, and also massaging this space right here. It's not perfect yet, but I think with time that thing will get perfected. Yeah, really good work. I think this is pretty solid, and I didn't really have to do much to make this look awesome. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in. I think all design industries share very similar principles. Is it hitting your objectives? Does it communicate? And is it technically sound as far as following the general rules of design? So as you can see with all the things we reviewed today, I made minor adjustments to each of them, which are all fairly related about where the eye is going, what you need to read first, second, and third, and making sure the things that we need to see, what the viewer needs to see, is crystal clear. So the cool thing about Affinity Designer app is it's the first fully featured vector design app on iPad. And you just pay for this one time and there's no subscription fees. You can combine vector and raster editing in one app, and this is pretty unique because I haven't seen this anywhere else. This app is optimized for the latest iPad and Apple Pencil technology, and you guys saw I was using that today. Thanks for joining me today. I hope the tips in today's video helped you guys out, and hopefully your designs at home get to improve just by adding a couple of these tips that I shared with you guys today. So if you like this video, make sure to like and leave a comment below. Let me know if you want to see more of this or other types of design you might want to be reviewed. Till next time, guys.